forgot I already got a sheet. And so we're live. So I spent all last night working up some ideas for how I'm gonna be coloring this guy, this space dad. So we're gonna be getting around to that. I also have to do some more shading on some of the other areas. Probably just gonna be making them some form of red. Might leave the smoky white texture. Maybe just some of the blender in order to get rid of some of these little patches where it bled through. Or maybe I'll go with some white gel pen. I also got some Posca pens, so I might be trying those out. Although I haven't even started these things, so that's gonna be a work in progress. I think the white right now, I actually really like the look of the smoky look for all the mist and foam. And maybe we'll see how everything comes together once I get the rest of the color palette down. I tried like maybe 12 different colors palettes that I was gonna try. Or it was Alien, at least working with what we already have. I probably should have done it a lot earlier, but I'm not a very smart man. But just to get started, we need a little guy. Let's see. Just off the top of the dome, what can we think of? Let's get this out there. I don't want to accidentally bleed through. Let's just get into it. Oh, that sounds nice. The stream just started and I'm already falling in love with some songs. I guess it's a good sign that I actually like the music that I'm listening to. Alright. I've also finally set it up so it records. The music's a little loud, isn't it? At least for me to be able to talk through it. But I finally set it up so it actually records immediately, just automatically once I start streaming. So now there shouldn't be any issues with me finding out halfway through the stream that I actually am not recording. I can see it from here that it is, in fact, doing just that. How close is the camera? Let's zoom in on our lad while we work on him. Give you guys a play-by-play on what's going on. I gotta adjust the focus. Give me a second. I closed it. I can't see anything while I'm focusing. Hold on. There it is. That feels like a good sweet spot. I'm just playing with shapes right now. This is actually what I do all the time when I'm at work. Just these little sketches. Because I have a lot of time where I'm just sitting around and standing around waiting for like periods of like 5 minutes. So I'll just start sketching things while losing my mind out of boredom from waiting. And any normal person would just pull out their phone, but yeah. Sometimes I'm too lazy to even pull out my phone. And I think everybody knows that you can very easily get too addicted to the things on your phone. So I think this is a healthier alternative to get addicted to. But that's just me. I had a different idea for the mouth, but it got a little bit too chaotic, so I just blacked it out. I tried to make a mustache, but I also made it a real mustache, despite the fact that this is clearly a mask. Needed something to warm up with. That's why I like doing these little guys at the start. This one strand on my brush is bothering me so deeply, but I don't want to cut it because I'm afraid I'll ruin it. But we'll see what happens. It looks like it looks like we survived. Sorry for the clearing in my throat. Oh, it's on my paper now. It still annoys me, but we'll make do. I'm about to sneeze. All right. Really glad I got a mute button. Hey, thank you for the follow. That sound is actually hilariously loud on my end. I hope it did not give anybody else a heart attack. For the visuals, I have like a streaming pack that I just kind of like uploaded and didn't really understand how to work with, so not exactly sure how to tweak the settings on the audio. But it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're good. Give him some good old wrinkles, because everybody loves wrinkles. Just give him just that little cowlick right in the front. That stylish, evil little cowlick. This is one of those guys in video that you see where they're like the obsessive artistic killer trope. This is definitely that guy. This is the guy that's like, yes. Like that's what we're working with here. The kind of guy that like literally like just sits all day in a suit, drinking wine and looking at somebody like splayed out over a canvas. That's the kind of guy. A classy guy, you know? The kind of guy you'd want to invite home to dinner. Trying to figure out where his neckline's gonna be. How buff am I gonna make this guy? That's good. I'm detailing out the entire body, apparently. We'll stop around the bust, just like the shoulders. This guy exclusively listens to David Bowie, but on reverse. This is the kind of guy that listens to Kendrick Lamar's Damn backwards, and it's like, oh, it has a completely different meaning if you listen to it backwards. You see, he designed it this way. Okay. I think we're done with this lad. Oh, well, he needs a name. He was born like a Stanley, but he calls himself Jacques. Or maybe Jacques. I don't know how to spell Jacques. Give me a second. Google, help me. I'm looking foolish. Okay, that's all I thought. Is he looking fat on the camera? Why is everything so wide? I don't know. I'm freaking myself out. I really hope I don't have it stretched out on the output, but we'll fix that when we come to it. Oh yeah, sorry. Shock. Is this guy rapping in Spanish? Sounds like it. All right. So shock is done. Shock. Anyways, now we get to actually do the part that we came here for. I came here for. He, she, we came here for. All right, that's good. Fix the focus. There we go. All right, I had the markers laid out. Here we go. So, let me see. How are we going to start this? How are we going to do this? Let's move this camera slightly a little bit more this way. It's got a little buddy peeking out on the side. I think I'm going to start with rimming everything with a pinkish color. What did I use for this tone? I believed I used an R1, but that seems a little strong. I know I eventually put a salmon on everything. A smart person would make a chart of these things, but I am but a lad. Let's try. It's a little bright, but that does seem close. No. I think this is one. I'm overthinking things. Now I'm gonna have to be very careful with this one because we're hunting wabbits. Because we're I already kind of got a little bit too excited to color in the insides of these, and now it's all warped looking. But I'm trying to leave enough room for kind of just like this cacophony of colors. There's this noisy mess of colors, just everything looking astral, space dusty, pushed out, kind of like a crater. There we go. Kind of like those NASA space photos you sometimes see. Specifically, the Crab's Eye Nebula is what I always look at because it's just a trippy looking thing. Although I was reading about how like the colors are kind of fake and this and that. They're like, I think they're supposed to be like a actually more purplish hue because of the cameras they use, but they doctor it for reasons. But I also might be reading conspiracies for all I know. Who knows? The the exposure's tripping with everything. That did not help much. Can I mess around with the brightness and contrast? No, you're not gonna let me do that. But if you mess with the gain, bah, this is all really annoying. I'm not exactly sure why, but sometimes these settings allow me to change them. Sometimes they don't. There are ones that are consistent, like the focus, where I've never had issues being able to change it from auto to manual. But contrast and brightness sometimes work, sometimes don't, and it's really upsetting. So I'm left with like half the tools. There's a reason. I could easily look up. I don't. I no think very hard. I only draw. So for the outside, I kind of want this ring of like goldish, orangish, amber. Those are all colors. And then like the main center is gonna have some strings of this same color, but mostly like a purplish pinkish hue, kind of just to match with the palette. So you got a little bit of the pink, a little bit of the purple that you have below. I had some more out there looks, but it was kind of obtrusive is the word I use far too often. Like it was really, there's a word for it whenever it's just like it clashes with the color palette too much. That's what I'm looking for. It's like I want this to be a little sharp because cosmic being from another world, but not so sharp that it looks like an entirely separate piece to the tattoo. It's a fine little line you gotta walk that I don't really understand anything about, but I try my best. So I should be able to finish this today, but then again, yesterday did take up a lot of time very quickly, so we'll see. The coloring isn't as fast as I like it to be whenever I'm actually focusing on trying to get around little parts. When I could just bathe everything one shade, kind of like the buildings, then it's a little easier, but when I start slowing down, things slow down. That's a sentence that makes sense. I'm just trying to interpret the line art, figure out what exactly I was thinking whenever I was doing this or that. I don't mind how this is coming along. So far, it's literally just yellow, but I'm liking it. I'm going within the from the chat. We're going with 9 because Sarah was the only one with the suggestion, and it was also one of the ones that I liked. I think it's kind of the best balance of having that something that clashes and but still fits enough with the palette. That's not going to give you a heart attack just seeing the other side. Let me tweak the colors for a second. I'm trying to get the white balance right. I'm noticing that everything's covered in blue, even though I changed it. I'm a whiny little baby. That's my hand. This is what I use for reference whenever I mess with this stuff. Far too yellow. It's very delicate right in between here. Here we go. It just so happens that Sarah picked one of the better color choices. If she had picked like which, let me see my list of color palettes. If she picked like number 1, which I think she said she did like, I probably would have not gone that direction because that one's so insanely aggressively spacey. It's like you're looking at a different picture, which I guess is kind of the point of the piece, but I don't know. I don't know. That's one of those things where it's like you can get too worked up into your own thematics that you actually kind of like ignore the visual language of the piece. These are all words that I'm making up, but they sound smart to me, so I feel smart. But I appreciate her input, and I'm glad we ended up finding a palette that I think works the best with this. A best of both worlds. I went on like 13 different color palettes trying to find which one because I was just not sure where to go with it. Eventually, I started to realize that, like, maybe I should use other colors that are already in the palette, and that kind of helped get me a little bit closer to where I wanted to be. Because I started off with like dark greens and all these other colors that had never even stepped foot inside of this image yet. It was very intentionally like this moody purple buildings and everything. And then you have like this giant dark green tentacled monster. Which is still sort of the plan, but I hope we can get to that before I need to spoil it. Because that's what you come here for, surprises. Whoa, hey Sarah. Yeah. The stuff right, the tentacles down here will be the same color. It's kind of like he's reaching out through many portals in the world. And also, glad you could be here very briefly. Being here isn't at all is nice. Let's see, where was I? But yeah, it will be some more tentacles down there. I might even think about giving the mist a sort of greenish glow. That way, it, like, further connects to the palette. So the green isn't as obstructive as it will be once I get to it. These are words. I'm using words. All right, I think that's enough gold. Now we can try to give it some more shading. But before that, let's spread some more of the pink. Get it a little bit further into the palette. I'm glad I made these little U hooks so I know visually where to add some pinks or where I can make color changes. Yeah, now that I mentioned that Mist Glow idea, I'm very excited to get into that too. It's nice when you're actually excited about what you're doing. Sometimes I'm very away mentally when I'm working on something. Sometimes I'm like right there, excited for every like little moment that I start working on it. Usually depends on what I'm doing. Like I've done drawings with like a ton of texture, and that's usually when my brain turns off, where I have to repeat a pattern over and over and over and over and over. Okay, so that's enough of the pink. We can add the other. We can add the other color. Is what I'm trying to say. Good old purple. This is where it kind of matches the rest of the palette. If I were a drinking person, every time I say palette, you could drink, because that's gonna come up a lot. These are just flats right now. Everything's gonna get more degrees of shading, so darker purples for the purple, darker reds for the red. Everything should have some element of depth. I already know that the pinks and purples blend together pretty nicely. I can hear that my brother's dog just walked into the room. The door doesn't close, so he can just walk right in whenever he feels like it, and then just walk right out. Where is he? He's already gone. He realized I'm not eating anything. Okay, I almost had a heart attack. I thought I wasn't on camera. Let's get a little closer. Fixing the focus. Yeah, it's good. Do you have any other settings that are weirding things out? Okay, this is all good. This purple and pink, when they mix together, they make like a really weird fleshy color. It almost looks exactly like a cartoon mouth. Which I mean, I guess works for exactly what I'm trying to draw. It's almost like this flesh opening in space and time. Just being pried apart by the jelly god, the squid dad. He pries apart the cosmos with no care for the consequences. Bye, Sarah. Thanks for joining just for the little while you could. I appreciate you. thin this out a bit. There we go. There. Just one more little section. We can move on to the next shade. I think we can finally start doing the squid. This corner is a little harder. Moving the camera out because I'm probably going to start hitting it every time I color this section. Fix focus. There we are. There we go. These all filled out. Now we get to start the super fun part. The squidad. All right, so he's gonna be a greenish blue shade. So let me find like a base green blue shade. It's gonna be a darker one, so it can be a little bit more saturated than the normal pastels that I'm using for the star material. Let's see. Oh wait, I have the little color chart right here. So it's mostly gonna be in these sections. So BG5 looks great. I think I usually use G5 for my kind of baser tone, but that's why I'm glad I got the 168 set. There's a lot more tones in between tones, especially the G5 and the BG1s, which are kind of just like you have two colors in this little vein, and that's it. And now with this section, it's like you got about like 4 or 5 colors that are like adjacent to it as well. So we're gonna be trying this BG5 for the base tone, then G5, and then maybe BG1, just to stick with good dynamics I'm already familiar with. Codes. Where are they? I already forgot which one I was grabbing. BG6? BG5. I never said the number 6 at all during that conversation, yet still it's the first one that came to mind. Oh, we're looking at the camera. God, I look handsome. Oh, wait, sorry, wrong camera. Come on, go on, move your fat neck. Is this Teenage Dirtbag? No. But the acoustics sound exactly like the... Her name is Noelle. That's what I should do. I should make this a music stream. Get DMCA'd in the fastest minute. I don't know if anybody else has made YouTube videos, but I mean, here listening to this, not in general. But they DMCA you automatically so hilariously fast. Like you will upload the video and but before it's actually like finished uploading onto the site, they'll already be popping up like strikes like, "Hey, you're playing this song. You're playing this song." Like the one upload I did that was unlisted, so it didn't really matter. They still gave me notifications, and it was like every single Kanye West song that was playing got DMCA'd, and I was like, okay. I get the picture here. Thank goodness there's no like intent on actually like publishing it or anything. It's just a video for me and my lads. This is a great color. This is my first time using this marker, and I'm already really digging it. This color works super well. Hey there, whatever, Nick Nender. Yeah, okay. Hey. I'm just coloring my squid dad over here for this drawing I've been working on for a little while. I've been really excited to start this shade because once I decided upon the palette, it started making a lot more sense to me. And now that I'm actually putting the colors down, it's pretty nice. It's got that new marker feel. All right. Thanks you. Blah. Thank you. Added an S to it. It's been something I worked on for every stream. I'm really happy with how it's coming along. To be completely honest, I wasn't even that excited to start working on it. But that's kind of how these things go. I kind of pretend like I don't know what I'm doing, and then suddenly they become a lot more exciting. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, the choosing the colors was like this really weird thing where I took a photo of it in black and white and just started playing around with all the colors, just all the different ones that I could. So I was trying red squid. I was trying like actual like space dust colors where it's like super dark black and intense. But a lot of them were it clashed way too much. So I started using some of the colors that were already in the palette. Like I used the pink, I used the purple. Yellow was already something I knew would not clash like at all. It's a very mellow color. And this specific shade of green worked particularly well. And I think since I left the smoke on the bottom, hold on, let me change the focus. You are the 10th follower. I do not have any prizes, but I really do appreciate it. Why is it so dark? But so like I have these smoky clouds that I'm gonna add some of the greenish hue that I'm using here. When I get around to it, I'm gonna leave that for like the end. Right now it has only been an hour. That's actually surprising. I did not realize it was an hour. It's more like 30 minutes, but yeah. This hasn't been worked on for an hour. This is several streams, but these streams are only for like 2.5 hours each. Maybe like 6 to 8 hours. I'm trying to fix the camera. Hold on. There we go. Oop, too far. There we go. Now you can work with the brightness a little bit. There we go. That's good, like middle ground. And I appreciate it. I have a lot of fun working on these little drawings. I think I just made a mistake. Yeah, I did. Oops. I colored this section. I wasn't planning on coloring yet. We'll work around that. When in doubt, I always have white paint to cover it back up. I have like a giant tub of white paint that's just sitting in the corner. And every now and again, when I make a big old mess, it becomes very useful. Plus, I got these Posca markers, and I'm pretty planning on trying them out maybe this session. We'll see how that goes. I don't think I was muted. Hello. Let me check my settings. As far as I can tell, I'm not muted. But I also might just be talking very quietly. Really hope that's not the case. Because this setup is made with duct tape and bubblegum. You almost gave me a heart attack. But I'm glad we got that fixed at least. There we go. That's all the tentacles. All right. So one thing I did come up with pretty early on when I was coloring these digitally, just to like work out colors and whatnot, was that I did want to do like a very pale, bluish, gross-looking color for the brain, because I didn't want it just like bright and pink. Like I wanted it to be nasty looking, spooky looking, like almost like a sci-fi movie, like the brain in a jar. So let's try some R20. Let's go like an actual yellow instead. I think we're gonna go with lemon chiffon, and then add some blue shading. But let's start with that yellow chiffon. Yes, jar brain vibes. So just like this really pale yellow. Just to start. I think I'm also going to make it the same tone as his eyes. The eyes will be glowing, but like the bags underneath the eyes. So you get like that really, really pale color. Then the hint of like pink to make sure it's like actually a brain. Oop, wrong side. Closer to the center, it gets a little bit pinker. Donovan's brain. That sounds very familiar, but I can't recognize that. I have this pink already lying out, so I'm gonna try to add some depth to the individual wrinkles with a really saturated pink. This is a very funky looking color combination I've come up with. It almost looks like ice cream, but I don't think I want to try it. Or maybe I do. Expand my horizons. There we go. That's already looking really nice. And then just to make everything a little bit more moody, we're going to use a darker color. This new marker set has like a ton of blue, so I want to try one of the new ones. Let's go with, I think the PB11 will be a good warm-ish blue. It's not a warm blue, but it is a lot warmer than your average blue, I think. I think that makes some kind of sense. Especially since it kind of still feels like it goes with the green color palette. Yeah, it's really strong. It might be a bit too strong, actually. I don't mind it for like the very, very like close textures. I'm gonna have to find a different one for. So that was PB11, so that was right here. I think we need to go something that'll blend a little more. I think PB8 would give it a heart attack, but maybe like maybe a B120 or a Robin's Egg, one of those two. Let's start with the 120. See if that gets colored enough. Oh, that's not working at all. That's a new marker, so that's just the color's not strong enough. There we go. He's kind of freaky looking. He's got ice cream for a brain. Someone should let him know. There we go. Now he's got this weird, vaguely pink, vaguely blue, vaguely white brain matter. All the things you love to see. So now let's start adding some more color to him. So I've already used the BG5 for this base shade. So we can start using the G5 that I use all the time, or one of these BGs over here. Let's start with the G5. Okay, sorry, I thought the camera wasn't in focus. It is crooked. Let's zoom in a bit, because I'm going to be starting to work on values and try to straighten up this camera. Zoom in a little bit. There we go, a little bit to the right. I'm a director. This is very careful work. There we go. So this G5 isn't really a strong shade compared to the BG5. So I might just be adding a redundant shade, but mid-tones never hurt anybody. Gives me at least a little bit more flexibility. It's kind of what I did with the towers way down below. So it ended up being this red gray base, but eventually I had a lot of what shade was that? Oh, it was like viola or something. It's like really pale lavender color, and that ended up covering pretty much all of the gray. But it's still nice to have that option there. There's probably still some of the red gray somewhere in there, in the little cacophony of the building sound though. There we go. So you get a little bit of depth from that shade, even if it wasn't the. I don't think it's the color I really needed there, but at least it gets me like a step in the right direction. So it's darker than the G5 would be the G7, BG7, and then I think blue gray green is maybe the darkest of the darks. But let's just start with that BG7 because that looks like a really like the perfect amount of like blue and green, like right in between everything. Trying to focus on building the shades. In my bracket, my brain, I'm thinking I can go even darker with these. This one is a lot better than the G5 earlier. This one's definitely an entirely separate shade that's noticeable. But it makes you think like there's got to be like one step further I could take this. Sure, I mean it might be an Icarus situation, but I mean, come on, let's get a little, let's make him a little darker, just like just a touch. I don't think I shaded this section right up here in the front. There we go. All right, so that was BG7. So I think the one step lower would be just straight up just using a different shade, like a blue. So let's give that a try. Where'd I put the BG? My eye itches. All right. Adds a little bit of the blue back into the piece. And just gives a final area for like the darkest of darks. Okay. I don't think we have to use too much of it because it's not looking like it's making a super darkening. It's not having a super dark effect is what I'm trying to say. I think GG9. Just one last experiment, and then we'll just go move on to another section. Where's this GG9? Here we go. Is it supposed to be a gray based on green? No, this doesn't look like it's too extreme either. It's not that bad. I think it works. But again, I think it's kind of just like, there's not much further we can already go that it hasn't already kind of approached. He does have a very shiny effect, which I'm liking. I'm glad it came through. Because I want him to look nasty. Not too nasty, just like unsettling. Like he's not supposed to be here. There we go. All right, it's a good little section done. I think the squid dad is finally all shaded out. Let's try getting back to some of the space dust because now it's looking flat. Sorry, I left it unfocused. There we go. Exposure's still too much. Can't really get it any better than that. Okay. Enough with the settings. So from the pink and purples, let me check something real quick. I want to check how it looks on my color palette that I've already planned out. Pretty sure it's just the purple. Yeah, it gets a lot darker, a little bit more reddish. So we'll try that. Okay, so P3 has a lot of directions to go in. So P4, P5. I'm hoping we can reach the P5. It doesn't get too chaotic before then. Like it's not already too compact and distracting from the squid. We want him to be the main star of the show. The pink, I think just a little bit of R1 will do him fine. Trying to see if there's another shade we could use. I know that this one has like a little bit of shading. I think that was from an R12, so maybe just the R12. We'll see. Let's start with the purple though, because that's gonna be an easy one. Easy-ish. There we go. Adding another like level of texture, just letting some of these brighter streaks of purple run through. That way you get a little bit more of a dance to the ripples. It's not just this flat shade. There's a texture to them. That's the goal, anyways. It's a good thing this is a 2-hour stream because this is going to take a while. That song's a little distracting. I don't know how loud the music is on the stream, so if anybody ever has any issues, let me know. I have it separate on my headphones because I actually like getting into the music. But I know that it also makes it hard for me to talk, so I try to keep it low for the stream. There we go. That's the hard part about doing anything in a circle. You have to move your hand a lot in order to get the right angles on your strokes. Usually the answer is moving to the screen, but I have everything taped down to an easel. Can't have things spinning around if I want to be able to record it. So it gets especially hard whenever I get to this area over here, because that one I have to reach over the drawing in order to get to the where I need to. So the one time being left-handed would be useful. Otherwise, and from what I hear, left-handeds have a really hard time drawing because they have to drag their hand across everything. But that might just be right-handed propaganda. Oh, this is one of those sections I actually did it incorrectly. Let's see if I can fix that before I get any further. Where did I put that Posca pen? Oh, here you are. It's hiding. All right, so it says to shake it, push it, and then just draw it. I think that's what it's saying. So that should be enough. And then push it. I'm pushing it right. I'm gonna have to look up like a video on this. This is gonna be the rest of the stream, just me figuring out how to use Posca pens. This is... Oh. I think I have to take this off. Oh, there we go. It's a button, like a actual button. And I guess I just hold it down for a little while. Oh, yep, I can see it coming in. It's starting to saturate the tip. Oh, let me pull this up so you guys can see it. Yeah, we're getting there. I think that might be... It's not as bright. So I'm thinking it's just not saturated enough. Ooh, now it's starting to actually drip off the pen. So, let's try pushing it towards the tip. Yeah. So let's see how this works. Mixed media. That's kind of nice. I think it's gonna need like multiple coats in order to get a really like bright white look to it, because right now it is kind of faded. And then I'm gonna have to go back over it with a little bit of pen to get that texture back in. But otherwise, this is not bad at all. The nibs also feel really nice, like they're just smooth. I was worried because I kind of mashed it in a bit whenever I was working with it. So now I can even add some to these that I didn't forget. Add some of the white back into it. When in doubt, just paint over it with white paint. Just reprime everything. Yeah, this works really well. You can kind of leave it streaky so it has even kind of a glaze to it. Okay. That's enough of that. A little experiment. Alright, back to the... Not that. Back to this. That's cool. The best time to test things is on things that you've been working on for more than a week. more than a couple weeks. So I think this I started this back before I went to New York, which would have been it might have been the end of June. But I'm also not very smart, so I could just be wrong. Binging with Babish song. I don't know what it is with this song, but it comes on every stream, and honestly, it's kind of becoming my friend. I think we'll be missing something if we don't have the Binging with Babish song. I'm pretty sure it's a Binging with Babish song. It sounds almost exactly like it. It's, if not just very similar. Camera's not looking directly at what I'm working on. Since I'm kind of just following the lines that I've worked with earlier, the like strands of cosmic dust, it's kind of giving it an effect of almost like fragmented glass, and I'm liking it. Oh, the more specifically, I'm talking about I think they were called blood gems and runes. No, it might have just been blood gems. But they had a very specific like crystal look to them that I think is very similar to what I've got going on right now from Bloodborne. So it's very fitting that it ended up coming in my work too. I would almost say, in a word, ideal. I think I can tell that some of my lines aren't completely correct to what they're supposed to be because everything was drawn at an angle. So I wasn't able to bend when I needed to. I think I have the camera far enough where I can better get a better angle on things. The last time I tried to get the camera real close, and that was giving me trouble whenever I came to the inking. There we go. I think that's all the purple. I'm gonna come back to the purple whenever I get to the very, very final shade of the almost blackish purple that I have. Next I'm gonna be giving the yellow a little bit more depth. Ooh, my back. Poopity poppity. Is that a ton of orange shades? There's the light orange, which is very useful, but this quince shade is looking pretty good. So let's try that. Y4, where are you hiding? Here you are. It's one of the shades they hide from you unless you buy the really big set, so let's try this out. It's definitely nice, but I think it's more of a peach tone. This feels like it should have been part of the pastel set. Is it lighter than the light orange? You're almost identical. I think it's slightly more of an orange issue. I might go and just add like just straight YR3. Just like really kill that orange in. But this is a nice mid-tone. Just for the sake of depth. Kind of massage your way into the orange. Okay. So that was nice. Let's go and switch over to the stronger orange. Let's go to the YR3 and Y10 almost look the exact same. I think we're gonna go with Y10. I don't want to go. I think so strong that it gives me a stroke. Where's the Y10? Where's the Y12? Where's the Y10? It should be like right next to it. There it is. Hiding in the corner. This is just like a step removed from YR3. There's never been a very good orange shade. It's kind of just like only the most saturated orange is your option. This one I'll need to use very sparingly though. Just like quick little flicks here and there. Just to give it a presence. Not the focus. Okay, that's enough of that. I think I'm gonna also blend in the orange because it does kind of it doesn't actually blend that well with its own yellow. Even though orange and yellow are like side by side in the color wheel, it's still having trouble to actually blend itself in. It kind of just stands out too strongly. And you know what we say about people who stand out. Get rid of them. That is a joke. Alright. So now we can move on to the pink. And I think I decided on using an R1. Maybe... This is the color season right now. I need something a little bit deeper. I think R12 gives it a grayer shade, and I'm not sure if that's what I want. I think R1's a little too strong. Let's try the R23. Just to shake things up. There we go. That just gives enough, I think, of the pink, of the depth to the pink is what I'm saying. All right, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's get out of our little bubble over here. That's about as much as I could put on screen. Come on, twist, please, sir. I'm begging. There we go. All right, and then fix the focus. There it is. All right, so yeah, that looks really solid now that it's all coming together. Jacques his please. Jacques. J is pleased. Whew. Okay. So I'm trying to see where can we move to next. Probably still gonna have to go back and add something to this spot. I don't want it to be just completely white. I think it's exciting, but it's a little unfinished looking. And then have to give all these sections a little bit more detailed. I know I'm gonna give a more reddish, yellowish hue to the window so they can fit in with the pattern up here. And I know I was gonna give a green ethereal glow to these, all this smoke. A little bit of red, a little bit of green. You know, just to match with this guy and the squid dad. Maybe even add some more shading to the building so it's a little bit more of a darker tone. It's got a really nice bluish, purplish hue, but I think there needs to be just one like really deep color to push things into the background, like the doors over here, and some of this over here, some of this and some of that, some of this and that. Yeah. Oh, sounds like a plan. Hey! I almost dropped my pen. Alright, where do we start next? It's my world, I can decide. I think we're gonna go... Let's do the windows. Then I think it can mess with exposure. So, like I said, these are gonna have a reddish hue, maybe just the slightest green glow. So we can try the BG5 to be the reflective tone because that's the base color for the Squidward. So just like the slightest touch, slightest touch of green to the windows. Maybe just like a little reflective glint too. Yeah. And see that for all the windows. Okay, just like the slightest little taps of BG5. And then for the actual buildings, that's going to be the same base tone. We're going to use the light prawn. Good old light prawn. Very useful color out of this collection. This gets more of the direct colors. This one's going to kind of like bathe the windows. And then some of the smaller windows just get the red. Well, I'm at it actually. Let me also not forget the tentacles down here, because these aren't going to be any different from the regular squid. They're just going to be the BG5s. These lumpy little tentacles over here. There we go. And then I think the BG7 is what I used. There's this 4 screen. It's all visible, right? Oh no! I've been working off camera again. I swear to God. One day I'll get the hang of it, but that's not going to be today. I don't know how to stream, man. I just work here. Okay. So now we can get back to the buildings or the windows. I don't want them to just look like these weird kind of like Italian flag colors. Not that being Italian is weird or anything. It's perfectly fine. Maybe just covering them back into the P3s, the purple colors, to like be their mid-tones. And then we can maybe use a darker color to give it a little bit more depth. This just blends the two reflecting shades. Gives them like a median ground, a middle ground. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. There we go. Just to have a place to meet up. And then we can knock in some dark color. Probably like a grayish color, maybe like a CG7. Okay. Then we could use like a white to bring back in the highlights, but I think I'm gonna wait on that. Next, I'm going to add some glow to these to the smoke. Oy. Sorry, stretching my back. Apologies for hitting the mic. All right, so I think I could just go ahead and use a BG5 again, but I might use a different green to kind of separate things. Maybe just like this really light G420 over here. We'll see how that goes. Still got a bluish, greenish bluish color. We'll just see how it goes. This color barely shows up on the camera, but it's supposed to be very subtle. Let me see if I can tweak some things. Nah, I can't mess with the contrast. Nope. Nope. Oh, I'm blinding everything. Now we're back on Earth. Yeah, okay. We're just gonna keep working with this, and then I'll add another shade. Just tick. Worked really well. I'm wondering if maybe just adding the G340, which is like the shade right next door, will add any depth to it. No, it's got more of a bluish shade, but it's... Well, actually, yeah. Oh, let's keep going. Let's keep seeing where it goes. Hmm. Everything looks so desaturated. There we go. Just bumping up this saturation just a touch. All right. So I think that's pretty close. Maybe just one last little hair closer. I think the G9 is just the one step closer to making it feel a little bit more textured. What is this called? Pastel metagreen. Just for maybe some of the really shadowy areas. I'm kind of spinning it to give everything a little bit of a more natural texture. There we go. I think I'm just gonna go back to that G420 that I originally started with because not liking how this part looks right here. Something about it just looks off. Okay. So that's enough of the shading there. I do think I need to color this pole. It's like a really dark color. Just to separate it. All right, now we're getting to the point where mostly everything is shaded, so I can start tweaking some more of the darker bits. Ooh, we're getting pretty close to 2 hours though. This isn't enough for another session, so I think we're just gonna have to go long in this stream. I don't think there's too much more I need to do here, so just bear with me. Shouldn't be more than 2.5 hours. Man, how's this P5 so insanely dark? I just need like a slightly darker. It's like P3, P4, P5, and P5 is like almost not even the same shade. I think maybe a PB2 will be an in between. It's like the goal is to make everything darker in this stage, but I don't want to completely have like an entirely separate section where you can tell like it's not even remotely blending. What am I looking for again? B2, PB2. This is taking me way too long. There it is. Let's try this instead. This might also have the same issue. Let's see if we can just use it really sparingly. Just the thin little strips. No, I think I'm gonna go back to the P5. It's adding too much of the blue. So if we're gonna have a color that clashes, it may as well at least still be within the purple family. Hey, it's a bot. I've never had a bot before. Oh, I think I have back when I first started here. Like when I read, like literally just starting out. So let me get this little. No, just delete it. Oop. That was not what I meant to do. How in the world do I delete messages? Well, this is gonna be the rest of the stream, I guess. Oh, I guess maybe I can't, I think. But I can make sure they can't type again, so there's at least that. Alright, back to stream. Doesn't seem like they were gonna be that much of a bother anyways. Be fun to have like a little dice jail, kind of like you have in D&D, but for the bots. Let's put them in a little cage. Just peek in every now and again. They have like so many spam messages that aren't able to be sent. There we go. The lights are actually very toasty over here. I'm gonna try to blend these really dark purples in. Whoa, that spreads far. That is a super saturated purple. And then purple's dark enough that if you just soak up a little bit of the color, it will spread far. That's actually kind of amazing. It's almost like it's got a secret shade hidden in between. There we go. It's a fun little extra level of color. Or extra level of shade. Sorry, I'm trying to fix focus. I forgot where the button was. Come on, come on. Yeah, I think that's good. Just one shade higher. Turn up the gain. Give saturation just a touch. Alright, so I think the last thing I need to do in this drawing is just add the highlights and have some more purple. So real quick before any of that, just want to add that little bit of yellow there. Just felt weird having an empty box of color. So an additional shade. So the darkest color I've used on these is just like purple, the P4, which is like right here, which isn't even the darkest shade there. So I want to find just a shade that's darker for that, but not P5, because P5 is insanely dark. So this darker than this. But what could be darker than that? But still not as dark as P5. Pansy's kind of interesting. I'm wondering if our R24 might add enough shade. Let's test that R24 just real quick. Just to see how it does. Okay, yeah, that's like nothing. Because it's basically already the shade I'm using. Or it's kind of like a... If all this purple, the purple bits were like scrunched up into a single color, it'd be this R24. Maybe... something that adds some color. Am I using P4? Or was that P3? Might be just... Okay, so yeah, I'm using P3. This shade is a lot brighter. So instead, my goal is to get darker than P3, which actually is a lot more feasible. I'm thinking that was allowed. We could go with the... For some reason, I want to try Prussian blue. That's probably gonna knock my socks off with how different the color is, but we're gonna try it anyways. Let's see, PB5, PB5. There you are. Because it seems like it might be a mellower color that might mix it better, but it might also be extremely dark and saturated. No, that is actually exactly what I was hoping it was. That's nice. That's always nice when that happens. When you get a color that's just as dark as you need it to be. So let's go ahead and put it on these doors. I completely screwed up the shading of these doors already. Oops. I don't know how well it's coming in. Just a test. Okay. It's just testing. Want to see how the colors would mix together if I blended it like that. Keep out the P4, keep in the Prussian blue. Okay, now you guys can see this. This is not the right color. Why does this seem so much different? I got all my markers kind of like held in a Wolverine claw. Feels pretty dope, not gonna lie. Just a lot of tweaking colors right now. Trying to get things darker, lighter, more saturated. Just slight tweaks. I think everything had a very pastel look to it, which was fine whenever I was first working on it. But now that we're nearing the pretty much at the end, I kind of want things to be pack a punch where they need to. It can't just be pastel everywhere all the time. Gotta have some spots where it's significantly darker. I think this shade of purple gives that shade of blue like a stroke because it's almost like the blue starts scattering. It's like you can tell, like, hey, this is an entirely different color that I don't think was ever supposed to come into contact with me. And I'm just like, yes, it is. Don't be silly. You were always meant for this. Okay. I think I'm only going to need to really add that much blue onto these buildings up here. I think it makes sense for the buildings further off to be a little bit less saturated, to be a little bit more cloudy. So we might be calling it soon. Finally. Went over my usual 10, but I don't think that's going to be an issue to anybody. Okay. 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 Oh, I zoomed out and forgot to even zoom in. Remember when I said I wanted this to be black and white? That was a funny time. Silly me. There we go. That's the max brightness. I think I want to still add some more purplish tone. Because it's still looking Not necessarily upsettingly blue, but it's very not purple. So just a little bit more shading. Just to kind of bathe things a little bit more in that purple, moody purple. Might actually be an issue with the sharpness that makes it look so blue on screen. Saturation, I meant. Let me turn autofocus on while I do this. Oh, let me try lowering the brightness on this thing. Maybe that'll even out the color a bit. Okay. I'm so close to done. I'm about it. I keep feeling that little itch that artists get whenever they're close to the end and they don't want to call it quits just yet. They still see the little things I could add. It's hard to pull yourself away. But I will, I promise. I'm not working on this for another hour. How long is this? Okay, so we're only like 10 minutes after usual. So this isn't too pushing it too bad yet. Oop. Okay, let's put these away. I think the only thing I need to do is just add some more highlights. So we don't need this for now. We can pull out the Posca pen. Posca. Just add some glint to the windows and edges. Zoom it back a little bit in, just so you guys can see some of the details I'm doing over here. I'm trying to be as delicate as humanly possible. It's not working, but it's a good try. I forgot that's why I turned off autofocus. Trying to think if there's anything else. I need to give some reflective lights. Might be enough for that pen. I think one also add just some of the lightest little touches of more yellow to the glowing eye. All right. Now, just last step is to add just some of the black lines back. Then it ended up having to paint over. Yay! I dropped my pen. Where's my 01? There you are. So just some sections where I accidentally painted over painted over with white that I didn't intend to, like the eyes, or at least not completely. Give back some of that scratchy texture. So it still looks more like a comic book drawing. Okay. I think it's looking done. It's definitely not the first time I've said that at all. Okay. All right, now I think I'm done. I don't want to keep pushing it anymore. Yeah. Let's go ahead and take one last big look at it. Oop, lifting the camera out of its. Let's just let it autofocus. There we are. So, it's very spooky, very squid. It's all the things that I wanted whenever I was planning this out. I think the cosmic effect looks good. It looks a little bit more like ripping a hole open in like a sore, which isn't exactly what I wanted, but it kind of looks cooler. It almost looks like a heavy metal album more than a spooky Bloodborne reference, which I think is fine. I think I like that it has its own like visual theme. The only thing left is to give it a signature. What should I do that in? I don't have any funky pens. Hang on just a second. Let me grab my... I got a green pen from work. So let's use this. Tip. It's working just fine. It is August 17th. There you go. Green even matches the palette. Okay. Well, I'll be thinking of what to do for next time. I'll probably have something. Might even just work on some digital art next time, but we'll see. But for now, that's going to be the end of this little series of drawings. This is my first series since I started streaming. It's very glad to do it. just to get things like worked out. I'm very much more of a traditional artist than a digital artist. But well, we have to give everything a try because I do want to eventually get to the point where I can do digital art just as quickly as I can do regular art. Um, yeah, I don't think there's anything I'm unhappy with when it came to this drawing. This felt great. This felt like I surprised myself, and I'm glad for everybody who could stand either or stay in and see this stream, any of the past streams, and any of the future streams. Have a good night.